This year, there are four great excursion options from Paris. Our first option is Versailles, the massive, opulent, and gaudy home of the French royalty. Originally built by Louis XIII as a hunting lodge outside of Paris, it became the center of French absolutism and culture during the reign of Louis XIV. He greatly expanded the palace into the place it is today, all with the purpose of intimidating his nobility in order to increase his own sense of power. Louis built such massive additions as the New Chapel, the Mars Room, and the famous Hall of Mirrors. The Hall of Mirrors has seen the creation of the German Empire in 1871 by Otto von Bismarck, as well as the Treaty of Versailles that ended World War I and destroyed that German Empire. Versailles is also famous for its immense gardens, fountains, and lakes. On this excursion, students will pick up bikes in the town of Versailles, and after a brief stop at a local farmer's market, will bike into the palace grounds to have a leisurely lunch and then explore some of the outer buildings, like the Petit Trianon and the farm hamlet where Marie Antoinette would pretend to be a peasant girl with her maids. After returning the bikes, you'll visit the main palace itself. A day spent exploring the grounds and palace at Versailles will help provide some context for why the French peasants needed to revolt. Our second option involves staying in Paris and experiencing Parisian culture more in depth. Here, students will take a morning bike ride around the city to see the beauty that is Paris before heading for a baking class at a local French cooking school. Students there will make and then likely eat macaroons, a traditional French cookie. This day will be a fun-filled overview of some of the highlights that make Paris such an incredible city. Students will also have some time in small groups to explore some of the other major sites in Paris, such as the Conciergerie, where Marie Antoinette and many other nobles were imprisoned before being executed, the L'Orangerie, home to some of Monet's most famous and largest paintings, and the Rodin Museum, home to many of the greatest sculptures since Michelangelo. One of our biggest and most moving excursions is our trip to Normandy. Students will leave Paris by train early in the morning for this full day. Originally settled by the Vikings, or Norsemen, who gave this region their name, Normandy is steeped in history like few places in the world. Students will have the opportunity to explore the remains of the D-Day beaches, the American Cemetery, and Pont du Hoc, which the Rangers stormed against heavily fortified German opposition on D-Day. Students may also have the opportunity to explore the ancient Norman towns of either Caen or Le Havre, and will likely have the opportunity to visit Bayeux and its famous tapestry depicting the conquering of England by William, the Duke of Normandy. We've heard about him a few times on these videos. This event-filled day will end with us returning to Paris that evening after dinner. This excursion costs an additional $200 for the local guides and vans. Our final and newest French excursion is the Loire Valley Bike Tour. This trip sees students take a train to the small town of Blois, where they will collect e-bikes for the beautiful morning ride along the Loire River Valley to the Palace of Chambord, an incredibly beautiful Renaissance-era palace built by the French King Francis I with the help of Leonardo da Vinci. After a lovely lunch near the palace, you'll be able to tour the palace with its incredible double helix staircase, its 440 rooms, and its 282 fireplaces. This palace, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, also includes the largest enclosed park in all of Europe. In fact, it's as large as downtown Paris. After an afternoon tour of the palace, you'll take a different route through the woods back to Blois, where you'll have time to get an afternoon snack at one of the great bakeries in the town before taking the train back to Paris. This is a truly great, fun, and relaxing day in the French countryside. This trip costs $150 for bike rentals, palace entrance, and guides. So 4 interesting and fun excursion options from Paris: Versailles, the Paris Bike and Cook trip, Normandy, and the Loire Valley bike ride. Tough choices. Well, au revoir.